Doing? I just sat down, dude. You gotta give me a second. I gotta get the stream going, man. Ouch, ouch. Hey, hey, you have food. I know you do. I just fed you. How's it going, Dark? Devtron, I apologize if you're still there. Hopefully, you have a good night. That's the risk we take when we live on opposite sides of the world, it seems. Maybe I can get an earlier stream sometime this weekend. Hello, YouTube as well. I think we are live. Mostly live. Pretty sure we're live. My music isn't playing. Is it this one? Yeah, there we go. Now we got some music. Good old Irish music. Awesome. What is up? How's it going, Dark? I want to do some C++. C++. I want to do some C++. But what kind of C++? That's the question. It's the eternal struggle I have with whenever I'm starting a new project is you can do anything you want with C++. Anything. And I've done a lot with it. And so I can never decide how I want to do my C++. My cat's staring at me wondering what's going on. What are you doing, dude? You gotta chill. I've been busy. I got a little bit more done with the Briarthorn C++ project. I think I showed this off yesterday prior to gaming. Ooh, Baldur's Gate 3 Jack of all trades sounds like a lot of fun. I have never I don't think I've gotten that achievement. I'm missing like 3 achievements total in Baldur's Gate. And I think Jack of all trades, it's Jack of all trades, getting like 100 coins from performances. And I don't remember what the other achievement is. I'll have to look it up. But yeah, so I made some progress getting some rendering happening with Briarthorn, and I'm able to now make changes via configuration to this application such that I could, for instance, change the color of how, let's do cyan. I don't know, is that cyan? Close enough. So I can save this, relaunch my application, and it totally didn't work. All right, well let's pretend that worked. Oh wait, I might be running the wrong version of this. Release. What did I build? Release. So the other thing I've been trying to get is for the these input files to get read by my application from just about any source of launching it, and maybe launching it from the terminal isn't working like I had hoped. Let's try and debug. No. That's not working either. Stand by. I swear I had this working earlier. Stupid programming. Let's set this to debug. Oh, I know. Oh, wait a minute. That's what's wrong. That's what's wrong. My code only supports the hexadecimal values and VS Code. So for those who aren't aware, VS Code does this little like color pop-up thing for you if it recognizes that you have like color values in your files. But apparently I have it set to RGB and not hexadecimal. So let's try that. There we go. All right. It was that easy. So I've been working on trying to figure out how I want to handle data configuration for my game, because eventually it'll get to a point where I don't necessarily need to script game logic. I'm okay with having that written in C++, but I want the ability to iterate my game levels relatively quickly without having to recompile every time I need to like make a change. Be able to remove the number of aircraft enemies that are going to be on in a given level. The ability to easily define like UI layout and change the UI styling. Basically set myself up for success down the road when it comes time for dealing with like the look and feel of my game. And so I've been exploring things like Toml here to do that. But currently what I am finding, especially when you're writing code from scratch versus like, and it's not even writing code from scratch. It is doing a more data-oriented approach, at least. I have limited experience writing code this way, but one of the things I'm running into immediately with a very simple application that I have is if I want to handle adding a new type of data that I can serialize and configure and set up, I have to make a bunch of changes. And I tried to keep this somewhat organized. So basically, anywhere I'm dealing with configuration, this is probably not the best naming convention. This maybe be more like input or serialization. But in here is all the code that I'm writing to essentially be able to parse these fields. And this is going to grow, right? You can imagine as this game gets more complex, as more buttons get added to the menu, as more aircraft show up, so on and so forth, we're eventually going to run into a situation where it's going to become a pain in the ass to maintain this code base. And I'm already starting to see this. So I did not commit these changes because I wanted to show some Git diffs on like what it took for me to basically add a couple of different types and their properties to support this. And long term, what I really want is I just want to implement a new type and only see the changes for that type. I don't want to touch like 20 different files. Now, a lot of this is just because I'm going to be adding more. I added a bunch here, right? I created a player type so that I could draw essentially a triangle. I created some type definitions so I could do data lookup. And then some types to actually like position and game logic types, right? So I created all that. But in here, I basically had to write some custom code to parse the database types, the game types, I haven't even gotten to the other part. So right now I'm only parsing game types and database types. But eventually I'm going to want to parse like UI and styling. Some of which I've already done. But basically, like these top level things, I am having to add new code for every time I want to add a new top level thing. And then down in here, in these config files, I'm writing additional types to handle the properties of the player, to handle the properties of the game file, which then get parsed and then loaded into my player type, so on and so forth. Now, this could be a product of the library I'm using to do this. It could be a product of Toml. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm coming from a background in polymorphic frameworks like Qt, where you can have like type erase types like objects or widgets and have a like a registered property system, so essentially like reflection. And with that, it makes it a lot easier to be able to just like, I'm just going to create a type, maybe register a couple of properties, and boom, everything else is automatically getting handled. Everything else automatically is now supported in data, serialization, input file, that kind of thing. So in my search for libraries to make a game, or to start porting my game over with C++, I want a little bit more path of least resistance. Now, obviously, the real answer here is just, use Godot and be done with it, because Godot automatically handles all that for you, right? Like, if I want to if I want to create my own data type and then have Godot automatically handle it, that's a resource, right? It automatically handles it. Now, you might have to write code to manually like serialize your fields out to JSON or something like that, but it automatically handles the scripting side of things. So I want to get to a point where I can at least quickly iterate on properties that I can adjust and tweak for my game. But this could have a massive impact on the architecture of the game as a whole. So that's why I'm spending probably more time than someone should exploring some initial ideas with Briarthorn before I start just sitting down and writing game logic. Plus, it gives me an excuse to avoid writing game logic, because I'm still not 100% sure exactly how I want this game to turn out yet. I have some ideas forming. But I think I won't know until I actually get it implemented and play around with it and see what I like and what I don't like. I also got to figure out what the scope is going to be, because I'm just one person working maybe 2-3 hours a night on this at best. Sorry, I'm getting work texts here. Okay. So I think that's what I want to do today. I want to explore a library called Flecs, because it turns out, now some of you may have seen me toy around with this in a couple of my earlier streams, so I'm familiar with it. It does not play nice with C++ modules, so I probably want to bring over a patch file that I implemented to fix that so it does work with C++ modules. But I was doing some of the Googles with Flecs, and it turns out, Flecs, by the way, is an entity component system library, but it's a lot more than that, I think. It kind of gives you some very core fundamental pieces for architecting your game. So that's kind of why I'm interested. And I think it has a showcase on its website here somewhere to give you an idea of what kind of games were made using Flecs. Like Tempest Rising, this is a real game. Like a legitimate game. And if for those who haven't ever played Command & Conquer Red Alert, this is like a, at least in my opinion, a very much heavily inspired, it even sounds like Red Alert. Heavily inspired game heavily inspired by Red Alert game. I've played the demo. I never really I haven't bought in the game or anything. Just because I don't really do RTSs all that much anymore. And when I do, it's usually Age of Empires. these days it's mostly Civ because my friends will play Civ over a more fast-paced game like Age of Empires. That's kind of where my interests have shifted, but very heavily inspired by Red Alert, which I grew up playing. Apparently, it uses Flecs. This game looks pretty cool as well. It looks like kind of a almost like a simulation style game, but like base building kind of thing. I don't think I've looked into any of these games per se, but regardless of the fact that it's being used in actual games, the thing I like about it, I think, was what I was talking about, which is the ability to script up components or define configuration so all of this works. Hey, Buffer. Sorry I missed your message. The first few thousand lines of code, you can do anything, vibe code, but at the 10,000 mark, you regret. Yeah, exactly. You're not wrong, Dark. So having that experience, having the knowledge where like, oh man, I have all these great ideas, I'm going to start typing, and then knowing I'm going to hate everything I've written, I am trying to set my future self up with fewer excuses to head down, make the game. We'll see. We'll see. But the thing I want to explore this evening is this Flex script. Because if this is capable of automatically serializing or like automatically handling configuration of components I define, then this would be huge. And I think it also supports hierarchy, which would be huge for laying out my UI, potentially. But I don't know how to use this thing. So I got to figure this out. I got to figure out if I have to manually register my types. Because I don't, like, it looks like FlexScript also lets you just do everything in a file, kind of like a scripting language like Lua. And I don't think that's what I want. I still want to own my data. I still want that to be C++. So I don't know how this works. So that's kind of why I want to figure this out and I want to explore. So no real goal of making anything this evening. It's just kind of more exploration. Looks like you can even do some expressions, but I'm not seeing like examples on how to, load a file, register your type to support it. So I don't know what's in the realm of possibility here. Is kind of where I am stuck at. So yeah. So before I can do any of that, I need to decide, I guess I should commit these changes. No Trill? Oh no, Trill is definitely here. Oh, these freaking AI bots, people. Hang on, I need to deal with this. But yes, Trill is here. Trill was bugging me a second ago. Where are you, Trill? I think he had already like been sleeping all day today, so I don't know what he's about. But he was rubbing up against me, so he wants something. That is for sure. But the cool thing is, with Flex, it does come with VC package, so I can just pull it in. Do I commit these changes? I think I commit these changes. Add player implementation and configuration. But it would be so cool if I can get this set up to automatically handle input configuration without me having to write a bunch of code every time. Like, that's kind of my goal here. So I know I can add Flecs. I think there's a C++ version of it. A, B, C, D, E, F. Flex. Oh, it might all be rolled in, so I just need to pull that in. But I need the patch file, so that's what I'm going to do. How's it going, Andre? Andres, amigos. Yes, see, su. Oh, you're Spanish, Andres. Es y su amigos. Español. Yo español un poco. Muy un poco. Oh, God. Is that even the right word? It's been years. I apologize. What was I doing? I got distracted. What was I doing? Oh, yeah, I need the patch file. I need the patch file for Flecs. Bilingual. Oh, God, don't. Oh, no. That is the worst possible outcome. Spanish, like I took Spanish from like 3rd grade till through high school. So I was like, for a long time I was really good at vocabulary, but I never really I never got to really practice speaking it. And so it never my brain doesn't have what it needs to process like real spoken language for Spanish. But if I see Spanish out in the world, I can, through some context clues, pretty much read most of Spanish. But to be fair, I think most people can. Spanish isn't too terrible once you get the vocabulary down. I actually don't know what I did with that patch file. Uh-oh. Dang it, it's not here. I gotta think. If I was me, where would I have put that Flex patch file? Actually, you know what? It's in the GitHub because I left a comment on Flex's Flex's repo. You can read as Buka. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, and I have never seen that word in my life, so I don't know what that means. Heck yeah. See my no one's responded to my answer. I provided a solution. But this is what I need. I need this patch file. The cool thing is, if I'm able to get Flex to work right, then maybe I will transition Awin to use Flex correctly, because then that would save us a lot of code we would have to write, and then everyone else who watches can get the benefit of that. What do I need? Flex. That didn't work. Why is that not pasting? There we go. To get Flex to work with CPP modules, you cannot use static for local translation units. It cannot be done. Uh, oh my God. Yeah, no, I don't know a lick of Russian. Unless, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Wait. Du hast, du hast mich. That's the only thing I know. Rammstein. What are we doing here? Flecs. Exactly. That's how bad my knowledge is. Point proven. I need these files. Copy. Now, don't let my lack of knowledge be a reflection of all Americans. Because I have friends who actually do know German. It's just never been an interest of mine. Flecs. All right, I need the VC package configuration file. I think I need to borrow from Alwyn. Because I think I did this in Alwyn, didn't I? C make VC package ports. I think that's what I need. I'm trying to. I am streaming when I am free. That's all I'm saying. So at least the past couple of weeks, I've been free in the evenings, and I didn't have anything going on. I might start cutting back at some point so I can keep my own sanity. We shall see. It just depends. That honestly doesn't surprise me. Rammstein seems I mean, I have to assume they were pretty popular in America, so I like it's probably more of a like American target audience, or you know. I don't know, they're just very catchy. Yeah, I think it's a very like radio not even radio friendly, because I don't think they really played Rammstein all that much on the radio when I was growing up. I don't remember, but like fun to listen to, because and they got pretty pop because weren't they like some of their big songs played in like the Matrix movies or something like that, or similar style of music, rave music. Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. It's a very like rave like music. Okay, so I've got the Flecs patch in here. I need to update the port file to use it. I don't remember how to do that. So what do? I try and find a port that does it. Right here, patches. So I'm just going to copy. Really? Okay, I think that's all I need to do to make this work for C++ modules. So then the next step should be maybe C, D, E, F. Flecs. Configure. Configure, activate. So now it should go out and yep, there it goes. It's grabbing Flecs. We're good. Oh my gosh, that 91 Metallica concert's insane. I guess my dad, I'm trying to remember if my dad said he met them. I don't remember. Oh, I'm gonna have to ask him. My dad, I mean, you know how like bands back in the day before they were big, they would always like play music at these like hole in the wall, local bars and things like that. I think I'll have to ask him because I don't remember. I could just be like misremembering someone else talking about this, but I think he said that like he got to like meet them and they like played an extra set or something like that. So it was just like an insanely long uh like hole in the wall style of concert, and this would have been before I'll have to ask him. I don't remember if this is before the Black Album or not. But he did go to the original it might have been the Black Album when they were doing this, the original like Snake Pit stage setup where I guess they would have like Lars moving around on stage or something like that back in the 90s. And I guess he went and saw that. I saw Metallica live in 2008, which I think was during their... Was that Death Magnetic? I think it was during their Death Magnetic concert. And it was freaking awesome. Oh, we're already done. We already got Flecs up and running. I think the other piece of this equation is I need to implement a custom header file to use Flecs correctly. Crap. I thought I had... I must have cleaned it up. That is on me. Do I have any other projects using Flecs? Oh, that sucks. Ooh, you know what? I wonder if I have it locally. Let me hop over to Awin here. Let's see, a month ago, 3 weeks ago. It's 3 weeks ago, less than a month ago. I think it is. I think that's what I want. Ooh, 2 months ago, 1 month ago, 1 month ago. I don't know which one I want. Let's try this one. Crap. I have a bunch of... you guys aren't really seeing this. I apologize. This is all I'm doing. Do I need this stuff? What was I working on? Oh, I was trying to figure out scene transformations. I think I'll just stage these changes. Or stash. Scene transforms. Okay. So I have ECS. And does this have... Doesn't look like it. No, this doesn't have it. Flecs. Does this have it? Where the hell did I do this? Node pool. No, this isn't it. This is old. I don't want this. Don't look at my code. Everyone shut your eyes. I don't like this code. All right, let's try this one. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. This is what I need. I need this. Okay, so source Flecs. There was issues with Windows and GCC apparently. Translation unit as a system header, which causes the compiler to suppress all warnings from headers included below. Silence all warnings. Basically, I don't want warnings from third-party libraries that I have no control of polluting my compilation output. So I always try and keep that out because I literally have no control over how someone else is writing their code. So I don't want their code causing my compiler issues. I need the output clean for my own issues. So that's why I'm doing that. So let's hop back over here. Nope, that's not it. Download Festival, Slipknot, 09. Nope. I haven't been to that many concerts. I went to, I think my first concert was, gosh, I think I was in high school, and I went and saw, who was it? It was 3 bands. It was, I think the headliner was Three Doors Down, Stained, and Breaking Benjamin. I went and saw them, and that one was cool. I didn't really, like, I went to see Three Doors Down. I didn't really know Stained or Breaking Benjamin at the time. Obviously, very popular bands, but I just didn't know them at the time. But I did know Three Doors Down, and I really liked their music. But they lost power right when Three Doors Down was set to go, so it ended up being like an a cappella type of night. But I was like so far in the back that I didn't really like get to hear them play all that well. So I kind of missed out, and I didn't really get to enjoy Breaking Benjamin or Stained because I didn't know who they were. And so I didn't know what they were about. Now, that was my first concert. I then saw I saw 10 Years at a Hole in the Wall. That one was pretty freaking cool. I really liked 10 Years. And then there was a local music festival I went to. This would have been out of high school. I was probably in college. But a local music festival that had like all kinds of, rock bands, like your radio, what I would call radio rock bands. So like, oh my gosh, 10 Years, Papa Roach, I'm thinking of someone else. Oh my god, it's gonna drive me crazy. No, my brain, it's drawing a blank. But those types of bands, plus a lot of like local bands, no name bands. So that's kind of the gist of my like music going experience. Ooh, that's not true. A couple of years ago, I went and saw Lindsey Sterling. That was fantastic. I've been watching Lindsey Sterling on YouTube since before she was like a big star. She like I found her from oh man, what was it called? Like Violinists Can Shuffle Too. She had like a YouTube video she did with a bunch of other YouTube artists, and I think that got pretty popular. So that came across my view, or my for you, if you will, and I've been following her ever since, and it was great. Hey, how's it going, research? Unhandled exception. Oh wait, I haven't actually added any of this in yet. So I need to add a CMake list txt file here. Oh, actually, no, I don't. I can just. I think I can just add it here. So I need to link against Android, otherwise GLFW. If for Windows, where do I link against Raylib? Right here. This is where I need to do it. So it should have told me, but I think I got rid of it. So we need to configure again so it tells me how to do it. Am I blind? I didn't scroll up high enough. Here it is. This is what I need. I wonder where Trill is actually. All right, so that's good. Now I need to make sure that my project can find the Flecs header. So we need a target include. We already got it. Target include directories. Let's make that public. Current source directory, which is my source directory. So then I should be able to include flex/hpp, which means in my main, where we can test this, I should, in theory, be able to do include flex.hpp, and that will compile and it won't yell at me, right? All right, I'm so freaking good. All right, I really gotta pee. Be right back. Trill was hungry. Okay, so we're on a quest. And that quest is to figure out how in the world to use Flecs to script to load, well, to create some data structs, register them, and load them or configure them via a configuration file. So what I'd like to do to kind of clean this up is let's go ahead and comment all of this out, I think. And then just include it down here. I think world.progress is like one frame of logic. Except we don't do cout anymore, isn't that right, folks? We use modern C++. We do print. Standard print. No, that's C print. I want standard print line. Hello world, is that right? Okay. Now what is it not like? Iter is not a member of Flex System Builder. Oh, well. Let's not use it. Does that work? Iter. Shouldn't this be each? The following warning is treated as an error. Oh no. C2-220 unreachable code. Yeah, see, this is the issue I was running into. I can't do anything about this, right? Ooh, Flex supports enum reflection? Yes, please. So because I can't do anything about this, I need to basically tell my compiler to ignore this. But I thought I already was. Yeah, it's I believe this is C++ 23, so honestly, other than on stream here with these projects, I haven't used it myself. So when I say, "Hey, let's we know not to use cout," right? I'm really telling myself that too to remind myself like, "Hey, there's like the language is evolving and you got to keep up." All right, so I got to figure out how to get the compiler to ignore. That should that not have worked? Let me see if there was something else I did to avoid this. Oh, there is. There's a bunch actually. I need all of this. So for MSVC compilers, I need to turn this stuff off. Is that right? Yeah. Let's see what happens. Yeah, there we go. All right, we are now compiling with Flecs. So we have ECS officially in something. All right, so how in the world do I write a Flex file, load it, and initialize my data struct. So if I have like a struct called keep it simple, keep it simple. Let's just do position for now. And let's also do, yeah, velocity works. That's just fine. Yeah, I mean, so to be fair, I think these days, and I don't know what the full support of modules is in the standard template library, but you should now, like, eventually, I think some of this does work today, but in theory, you should just be able to do import standard, and then you would get all of this as well. But this, as far as I know, relies on third-party libraries in their header files to, like, okay, am I including Flecs or am I including import standard? So if any third-party libraries are using the STL, then they also have to be doing that, or I haven't had much success otherwise. So that's kind of the downside. We're because C++ is such an old language, and heaven forbid we break backwards compatibility, it's going to be a transition. It's going to take a bit before before third-party libraries catch up to all of this. Okay, so compiling, I think I just need to look up how to do this. This is like API documentation. This isn't a tutorial. Oh, this is gonna suck if I can't use, like... Is a runtime interpreted scripting language for creating entities and components that is optimized for defining scenes, assets, configuration. That's what I want. But does this ever turn into a static type? Or is it only... It doesn't really say how you load it. Inheritance, relationship, expressions, initializers, match expressions, new expressions. String interpolation. Unary expressions. Binary expressions. Oh, man. This is not what I was wanting. Swizzle operations. What's the progress? We are actively looking at Flecs documentation. It does compile with Briarthorn, so I've got that working. I'm trying to figure out if literally what I want is to be able to do something like auto world load file path to briarthorn.ecs, and then this contains the Flex world of all my data that I have initialized. But the data itself, like after I do that, I still want to be able to call like world.component position. And I don't know if that's what Flex is doing. Oh, wait, what's this? A function can be created in code Oh, that's crazy. So, okay, so you can register functions to be used in scripting. Function implementation looks like this, which makes me think I should be able to register like structs. Methods. A method can be created in code. The parent is the entity that you're registering to. All that makes sense. Vector functions. Script vector type. This is crazy. So I could literally... So is Flecs a full-blown scripting language? I don't think I knew that. I don't really need it for that. But I didn't know that. Templates. Templates are parameterized scripts that can be used to create procedural assets. Templates can be created with the template keyword. So this is almost like the type entity I was trying to do, I think. I had a thought a long time ago for like Arduino, Raspberry Pi, that kind of thing. Basically anything that had those what are they called, like GPIO ports. Because I had an Xbox growing up, and if any of you are old enough to remember the Xbox 360 and the Red Ring of Death, if that sucker ever like overheated, it caused the solder to like loosen and would eventually cause a red ring of death inside the Xbox. And so I always had this idea that I thought would be cool, where you build a case not dissimilar to like that bookshelf, but you know, smaller, more enclosed for an Xbox and other systems. Maybe have some CPU fans and LED lights, and then just hook up a like an Arduino with a temperature sensor to basically control the fans, and then light up the background of the box to show like, oh hey, temperatures are optimal or temperatures are getting hot, you know, that kind of thing. I had the thought, I just didn't have the motivation to see it through. I don't have the original Xbox 360 anymore, but I still have my Halo Reach version. So, is it the Slim? I guess, I don't remember what it's called. But I have the Halo Reach version of it. My family went through a couple of them. Xbox Elite, 360 Elite, which was the black one, I think. Include statements, using statements. Like, all this is cool. How do I integrate? Use with statements. All of this is cool. So cool. But I want to integrate it. Ooh, what's this? This will make the variable available to other scripts as math.py. Man, this is like a whole ecosystem. Is this it? The following example shows how exported variables can be used in combination with modules in C++. Ooh. Is this what I need? Oh my god, has Grand Theft Auto been out that long? I never got into the Grand Theft Auto games. I played is it Vice City on the original Xbox? Was it the original Xbox? Because I think it was like Grand Theft Auto 3 and Grand Theft Auto Vice City or something like, or maybe Vice City is 3. I don't remember. I think it was out for like PlayStation for a while, but then it finally got released on Xbox. So that's when I played that for a bit. It was fun, like trying to run from cops, but I never really got much further into that game. Okay, so what is this? World.script. Oh, is this how we load? This runs the script. The following example shows how exported variables can be used in combination with modules in C++. So this might be how you load. I've seen I've like, even not being a Grand Theft Auto fan, I have seen the videos for Grand Theft Auto 6, and holy crap. How's it going, Nathan? No, I really like, I think I'm really going to like this. And I'm not seeing what I need to figure this out, but I might try this piece here anyway and see if we can just figure it out ourselves. Component values. A script can use the value of a component that is looked up on a specific entity. The following example fetches the width and depth members from the level component that is fetched from the game entity. Okay, so you can use this syntax to look up components from an entity. That's kind of cool. To reduce the number of component lookups in a script, the component value can be stored in a variable. Okay, okay. If statements. Holy crap. This is going to be bad. I'm going to have to talk to Jamal about this for the Alwyn project, because if those of you who were there, what was that? Was that last Friday? I don't remember when that was. But he was going to look into Lua to work with Alwyn. But if this does everything we need it to. And it has some proven games behind it. Now, I don't know exactly how those games utilize Flecs. I wasn't expecting to do all of this, though. At least right now, I don't need all of this. Because I don't know what it would take to debug this, which would be, I could see that being a pain, debugging this. Because if there isn't a good debugger that goes with this could be a pain. I just really need it for configuration. Like, this is cool. If I can build up, I would rather do something like this than what I'm doing now, which is in Toml. Where am I doing that? Like, this is what that looks like right now. It's just kind of a flat map of configuration, which is fine, but it's easier for me mentally if I can kind of write it out like it would in memory. As in, hey, this line has a property called start, here are its values. This line has a property called stop, here are its values. I don't know, visually that just maps in my brain a little easier. Comma operator, semicolon. Oh, API. This section goes over how to run scripts in an application. Looks like it's using C. That's fine. If it can be done in C, it can be done in C++. I'm not too worried about that. So that's how you run the file. That's not what I want. Run multiple times. Manage script. Manage scripts are scripts associated with an entity, can be run multiple times. Entities created by a managed script are managed with script. When script execution fails, the entities... Okay, if I understand correctly, this runs a piece of script for a given entity, which could be cool. When a script contains templates, Is this it? My right click go to definition still doesn't exist, and I don't know why. We register the position component. I guess I could just start trying to figure this out. Let's see. For each position. Okay, that didn't work. Oh, because I never actually created the entity. These are just registering. There we go. Position 0, 0. Velocity is 1, 1. Sweet. Flecs is a pretty massive entity component system library that does a lot more than just entity components. I'm still kind of learning it, but it supports like object hierarchies, which is awesome for UI development. There's YouTube videos as well. We might have to look at these too. C++ examples, for example. What we got? Hello World, queries, prefabs. It's being used by a couple of like real games too, which is cool. I think they show it off on their homepage. How do I get to their homepage? The documentation, in my opinion, is either lacking a little or I just can't find it. Tempest Rising, I think, is the biggest game that they are showing off that has used it. Some other looks like indie games. This actually looks kind of cool. Whatever this is, After Sun. Has some examples, Flex game examples, transform physics, Sokol. Looks like it has Rust bindings, Zig bindings, Lua bindings, C#. So it's like a really well developed and maintained project. It even has a website where you can toy around with a Flex script. So apparently it has its own scripting language that I am actively learning about today, right now. That lets you build up whatever you need it as entity components. And then they have some kind of tool here that visualizes elements based on these components. So clearly they had to have registered these values somewhere. And that's what I'm trying to figure out. Yeah, they have closure bindings, but I have no idea what that is. What is closure? Lisp? Isn't Lisp like... the second oldest high-level programming language and a pioneer in functional programming. I have never written Lisp. Like, I'm not 100% sure I could tell you what Lisp looks like if I was looking at it. Oh. Oh, God. Is that the syntax? Is this the syntax? Hang on. Select title, author, year from books where I'm trying to figure out how to read this. Where the year is greater than equal to 95 and the year is less than 2010. Okay, so is this the function? Lisp is used for Emacs configuration. So these are the values passed in, I guess. Title, author, year. Wait. Is that a parameter too? From books? Oh, no, this is the input. So you're grabbing these values from this input. So books is a data structure of some kind that you're iterating over. And then you are sorting? Or no, this whole thing, this is the input. No, this is the output. Oh, God. Oh, my object-oriented brain cannot handle what I'm looking at. This hurts. Do you guys actually know this? Do you guys write this? I feel like I've been writing C++ for 15 years, and I don't think I could read this. Slime, an IDE that leverages the power of Common Lisp and extensibility for Emacs. So is Lisp like specifically for Emacs? Oh God, how old is Emacs? I feel like I have opened a Pandora's box. Wait, you can do object-oriented programming with Lisp? Is that what this is saying? Define class book. I don't understand what I'm looking at. Okay, so this is a constructor. Make instance book title. Or no, you're literally, this is like, okay, so this is like doing, if I have a class book with a constructor, hang on, we're gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure this out. You're taking in a title and an author. Okay, we can do this. Title, author, and of course we don't pass by string, we pass by string view, right? Title, standard string view, author, that looks fine, and then we initialize it via book B, title, author. So like this line here, and then all of this. So what is this? This is 10 lines of code, 11 lines of code, compared to Lisp, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 lines of code. Like that's basically what we just did, right? No, but Emacs has a Lisp dialect. Okay, got it. Emacs is really old. Make sure not to mutate anything or do side effects. Oh, wait, I forgot it. Wait, what are these fields? Documentation? Is everything a string? How do you give these types? Is Lisp not type safe? Requests per second. Go. Requests per second using Woo, an HTTP server written in pure Common Lisp. Someone wrote an HTTP server like this? I don't know if I have never done, when I hear functional programming, I'm thinking I'm just writing C. But I don't think that's actually correct. My understanding is functional programming is completely different. I don't know functional programming, so I can't have a strong opinion. But if Lisp is functional programming, I am having a very strong reaction. Obviously, this is a very small snippet of what I think Lisp might be. Can you give an example of drawing a triangle using Lisp? Okay, this isn't nearly as bad. This is a lot more readable. Now, this is AI generated, so you guys will have to tell me if this is wrong or not. But I think this is a lot more readable than whatever was on that website. Auto Lisps for AutoCAD. Oh, this isn't common. Wait, is there different types of Lisp? Lambda calculus instead of the usual Turing machine inspired stuff? No, I'm not. This is outside of my realm of knowledge. Far and away outside my realm of knowledge. Everything I've ever done is heavily like C based. I mean, most of it's obviously C++, but like Python. What else have I done? Even the newer stuff like Zig, Rust, even really. It's all like very much like allocate memory, perform operations on the memory by passing memory into functions, getting the output, operating on the output. Yeah, imperative. Yep, that's what it is. Imperative. I am very much imperative brained. A little bit declarative brained as well. I really like declarative scripting. But like this stuff makes sense to me. This is readable for sure. The syntax is weird as hell, but that's mostly because I'm not used to it. Wow. Wow. God, I'm lost now. Anyway, so that's Flecs. Apparently Flecs supports that. There's I thought I saw a quick start. Yeah, quick start. So this even has like observer events. Like it supports observer and events via like entities as well. I think you are able to do like generic iterations over entities and then build queries which will inherently cache common components together for more performant iterations. So like I am somewhat familiar with some of the things this does. It supports tagging. The relationship stuff I think I'm going to make use of as well. Okay, here's what it looks like in Clojure. Oh god. Like it doesn't even have syntax highlighting. Vibe. Okay, Rust doesn't either, so I can't knock it for that. They just whatever they're using under the hood to render this, which is what, some type of markdown, I'm guessing. Yeah, I forgive my ignorance. Is Rust object oriented? It looks like it might be object oriented, but it doesn't do. Does it do implicit destruction? I'm guessing not. If this example is showing, or wait, no, this is. Does Rust do implicit destruction? This is Flecs though. This is Flex's API, so we're not really using constructors, destructors here, regardless. I feel like I just need to try this out. Try and write a Flex script file and load it and see if I can get it to modify my struct. Because I'm not seeing any good examples on how to do it. I don't know. I don't know about Rust. Because I thought Rust had the defer keyword, but I could be mixing languages. And usually if a language has a defer keyword, then they are probably not doing stuff for you. Now, it might fail to compile. I know because of Rust's borrow checker, it might yell at you for not deferring, but you probably still have to do it. Oh, is defer go? Man, see, I know Zig has it, which compared to C style of go to, I do prefer. But yeah, I don't know anything about Rust. Hierarchies. I'm really excited to try out the hierarchy stuff. Because usually, I have toyed around with like writing my own custom ECS before. And usually you have to like build components to do all that for you. Hi, Trill. Hey, people are asking about you. What are you doing? Hmm? Here. How's it going? Want to say hi? Hmm? Want to say hi? How are you? Hmm? What's crazy is if he could go so much louder, but I think he's just chill right now. Go's another language I have heard good things about. Oh, I've got trill hair all over my mic. I've heard Go is fairly like simple and easy to use. I don't know anything about it, just what I've heard. A lot of people like Go because of how like straightforward it is. Is Godot native, like is Godot a systems language? Does it get compiled to machine code or is it like bytecode? Oh, did I say Godot? I meant Go. Go is compiled, but oh, it's garbage collected. Is that optional? Is it like garbage collected by default, but then you can take over, or you just don't have a choice? So that makes me think Godot is similar to C sharp. Would you say, or is Godot more performant? Because C sharp is bytecode, isn't it, or virtual machine? Java's a virtual machine. I don't remember if C sharp is. I know it's like there's a translation layer under it though of some kind. Okay. I'm not seeing anything on how I want to use Flecs, so I think I'm just going to have to try and see what happens. One negative to using Flex script is it's probably not like a super common scripting language, which means there's probably not going to be any LSPs to go with it. Syntax highlighting 4 years ago. I don't like that. Updated 4 years ago, 2 stars, definitely not being maintained. Crap. Yeah, I'm not sure how I think Godot's integration with C# is like it has to be like some kind of service Godot runs under the hood to a scripting engine, basically. I have to assume, otherwise I'm not sure. I have no idea. Okay, so let's do main dot ECS. It will be annoying not having syntax highlighting. I don't even know how to. I don't even know what I'm doing. Because I would think. I guess let's try that. Let me just try. I think it was like what? Struct position x5 y2 world dot script. Oh, can I just try it in line? Ooh. The Redo fork of Godot? I've never even heard of that. What is that? Oh, you see that? Drama. Something tells me people aren't aligned with this. Could someone compare Redo engine LTS? Is a feature-packed cross-platform game engine to create 2D, 3D, provides comprehensive common tools. Under the very permissive MIT, I mean Godot's MIT. Redo was forked from Godot almost 2 years ago, intended to improve upon Godot in order to fulfill its potential. Okay, so this seems to just be what? A person or group of people who maybe weren't happy with the direction of Godot, and so they decided to clone it and or fork it and do their own thing. They don't really go into like what the differences are. Yeah, that's a good question. Are people actually tracking this? I mean, it has 6,000 stars. Holy crap. Only 49 issues? So that's suspicious unless they are unless they're handling issues some other way. Let's see what this is about. Redo engine. Game engine, game changer. Create your 2D, 3D games. They're treating it like it's just a game engine. Here, check this out. Not, hey, here's what we're doing different from Godot. I don't know if I like that. Redo engine's powerful features. As if it belonged to them and not Godot. Ooh, I could see how this would upset people. It would be different if it was like, hey, built off of the success of Godot, but wanting to focus on 2D RPG development, or wanting to focus their powers and efforts towards building up something specific. But this just seems to be Godot. Am I wrong? Is this not just Godot? I mean, I'm seeing some like theming and styling, which could be cool, but I'm not seeing like, oh hey, the GD scripting language isn't the way to go. Let's use the redo. Like, it's not. I don't get it. It's touting scene system nodes, cross-platform. All of this is Godot. So what? I don't. Oh, I accidentally. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of Godot myself, which is why I was kind of interested to see if Redo was doing something a little different. But I don't think it is. Every feature it talks about, Godot already does, I think. So they're just like, what? What are they trying to do? This is killing me. I actually legitimately want to know what they're doing differently. They're not even like claiming better performance, modern C++. Like, I, yeah, I don't know, guys. Huh. Different rendering back. Like, it even uses GD extensions. Yeah, I don't know. Interesting. Maybe it'll eventually change. All right, I am starving. I will be right back. Make me a sandwich. Maybe grab a drink. Do I need a drink? Or are my drinks? Kind of empty. Keep them entertained, Trill. I ran out of regular bread, so I ended up making a peanut butter buns. Oh, it's politics based? When the fork happened, a lot of financial supporters left, and apparently Godot still hasn't been able to recoup that income. Really? Interesting. I mean, yeah. When money gets involved, a lot changes. Hey Jan, how's it going? I did get a monster, but it's empty, and I'm out of monster. So now I'm just drinking a boring old Mountain Dew. Oh God, I'm sorry. It's an American Dew. I didn't realize they did that. Are you kidding me? I think it's to celebrate the 250th year of America. Hmm. Dude, it is expensive here as well. It is insane. I'm trying to remember. I think around COVID, a 12 pack of soda was like $5 or $6 here in America. Now it's like 11 or $12, so it's like almost double the cost, I think. And so when I do get some, I try and get like in bulk, so it is as cheap as possible. Because holy crap. What did I use before VC package? Oh man, I'll tell you what I used. I used bare hands, tears, some blood, and a lot of crying. So I started using VC package. I don't know when it was released. Like, but I started using it like prior to COVID. Yeah, okay. So it was initially released in 2016. I I had been aware of it since then, but I didn't officially start using it for any real projects professionally until like 2019. And so up till that point, what I would do, and I worked on a visualization and simulation framework, which was very similar to like a game engine. So graphics, input handling, timing controls, uh, not really physics. I was integrating physics, but I wasn't like implementing physics. But like all those different types of components you'd find in a game engine, serialization, like loading files, networking, all of that. And we had to support multiple platforms. It wasn't just Windows. So what I did, because I was the intern slash junior. So what I did is I had to go out to GitHub, which I think existed. I also did SourceForge and sometimes other websites, just random websites. And I would have to download the source code, get it all compiled. So we're talking like even like the common libraries, right? libpng, zlib, curl. What are some other common ones? Like core libraries, JPEG. And then more complicated libraries that used all those libraries. I had to get them compiled manually on Windows and Linux, 64-bit and 32-bit, because 32-bit hadn't been like deprecated yet. Yeah, I don't think it had. Windows, Linux, 32, 64. Yeah, and I had to manually compile the code. And if there was a compile error in the code base because these projects were not being maintained for all these platforms, I had to go in and fix it. So that's kind of where I got pretty good at reading other people's code. Because I would have to go in and literally understand why code wasn't compiling for whatever configurations, fix those, patch them, and then we'd have to maintain the changes I made, and then do it all over again for every single library. And then once I had all of that compiling and working with each other, I would then have to get that linked in to the simulation framework we were developing. And then we would just maintain it. We would literally just zip all of that up and carry it around with us. And we would use CMake to automatically like copy DLLs where they needed to go, that kind of thing. But it effectively became like this massive zip file that we would carry around with us. We would maintain in like an artifact repository kind of thing, download it to your machine locally, and then just point CMake to it to find all the packages. And sometimes I'd have to write my own find, I think it was called modules, find module scripts for CMake to find all these dependencies. And that's what I did. I had to manually do all that. It would take me months. Yeah, it would take me months to do all of that. And anytime you had to upgrade to a new version, that's another few weeks to make sure everything's still working. But like, it was all manual. With VC Package, I do one line of code, and for the most part, I get the dependency I need to work on all the platforms, for the most part. So now these days, as you've probably seen in YouTube at this point, I kind of swear by VC Package. Because it was a game changer for me. It made my life so much easier. Now, there's still some know-how if you want to do anything beyond just specifying a dependency, because dependencies could have different feature flags. So there's some know-how on how to like turn feature flags off or on. There's some know-how on understanding the fact that like this GLFW windowing dependency, you don't use it for Emscripten or Android, so you got to know to turn that off. Things like that. Or if I need to patch a dependency, even today I'm modifying other people's third-party code. If I need to patch a dependency, then I have to know how VC package works in order to do that. And so I've spent the past 7 years using VC package, so I've gotten comfortable like copying, pasting, modifying, creating my own port files in order to get my changes into the code base automatically, so I don't have to like maintain this in separate repos or anything like that. So basically, I think I skipped the whole Git submodule phase of dependency management, because the project I was on started before Git was really like widespread and well known or well used. I'm so freaking hungry. Okay, according to Google AI, this should be possible. Looks like I might have to register, which is fine. You manually managing dependencies barbaric? Yes. Yes. And I say that from all the pain I felt managing my own dependencies. I will never do it again. That's fair. Like I said, there's still a little bit of know-how to get VC package working the way you need it to. Conan exists as well. I've never used Conan, but Conan exists. But I think Conan depends on Python, which annoys me. At least with VC package, the only dependency is CMake, which I'm already using for cross-platform development anyway. It also depends on your use case, right? If you're just pulling in like a header-only library or whatever, I mean, so be it. But if you're pulling in a bunch of dependencies and you need all of those dependencies to work with each other and work on all these different platforms, I'm not managing that myself anymore. Yeah, I assume like any newer languages that are coming out, they have probably learned a lot of lessons from C and C++, that they probably have better ways of dealing with dependencies these days. But for C++, it does not get much better than VC package, especially compared to how it used to be. And what's really cool, I think I talked about this a few weeks ago. CMake, along with other big name companies, Conan, VC Package, and I think there's other companies getting involved. They are building a dependency standard for C++, where all of these, so like it's kind of already started with VC package, right? So for every port in VC package, this is a list, essentially a list of every dependency you could use with VC package to pull into your project right here. So all of these dependencies, if you click into one, oh, hey, PyBind. It has a port file, and this port file defines things about the package, what its license is, where it can be found, what version it's on, you know, what other dependencies it might have. I believe they are coming up with a standard that all of these package managers are going to adhere to, that any library you are building should adhere to. Because if you do adhere to it, then you guarantee these package managers working with your library. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I'll see if I can find it. We looked for this before, and I got it wrong last time. It's is it CMake? CMake package standard? Common package standard? This is gonna kill me. We looked this up last time and I couldn't figure it out. I forget what it's CSP or CPS. Common package standard. Is it common package standard? Common, let's see. CMake common package specification. Let's go. The common package specification is a standardized JSON-based format designed to describe pre-compiled software packages such as libraries, headers, executables, so they can be seamlessly shared and used across different build systems. Driven heavily by Kitware, creator of CMake, CPS serves as a modern language-agnostic replacement for fragmented, tool-specific configuration formats like legacy package config files and proprietary config.cmake scripts. Oh, so this won't even be like dependent on CMake necessarily, especially if it's pre-compiled. Interesting. Where's the actual website? Isn't there CMake integration status? So I think that's what it is. CMake will like automatically generate this common package standard for your project, or it'll give you the tools to generate, which I'm okay with. So yeah, it's like there is stuff being developed. I know there are other companies involved. I don't remember where I saw those. Contributors conceived by Woki, who also serves as the primary editor. Yeah. So I think it's TBD still on like when it's coming. Hey, if submodules works for you, then submodules works for you. I wouldn't stress too much about it. I personally, I'm not a huge fan of submodules in general. I'm using it for VC package specifically, and only VC package, because then everything else just automatically gets pulled in. And the big reason I'm using that is VC package during CMake configuration has to exist before you run CMake config. Otherwise, what I used to do was it's like CMake fetch package or something like that, and then I would just have CMake automatically clone VC package for me and set all that up. But I was running into an issue where I needed VC package to exist before that script actually started. So now I just add like a VC package tag as a submodule to my project. All right, so I think maybe this is what we need to do. Can I do like a comma? Dang it. Sometimes my formatting gets it wrong. Maybe I do something like this. No, that won't work. What does this return? Is this an entity as well? Because I could just do auto for like register and then do r dot. Oh. R dot. Whatever. I just want to learn. Figure out if this works. How do I update my baseline? Like when I'm ready to go to a new version, what I typically do, and it's kind of manual. I just literally I go to, well, and I can do this locally as well. You just pull up Git and look at the history. I like to keep track of what tag they're on. So right now they're on May 25th version. I tend to just stick to these versions. There's nothing saying you can't just grab their latest. I think for the most part, it's relatively stable, but sometimes you run into issues. So I usually stick to a tagged version. And then all I do is come into here and Git, and I just look for the tag. I just literally, I'll come here, I will right click, check out, and when I check it out, the submodule will show as a delta. So then I commit the latest hash, hit configure on CMake, and then it will automatically pull in the new dependencies. The only reason I'm not using a later version right now is with Raylib. Newer VC package comes with a newer version of Raylib, and I was running into issues with version 6 of Raylib, so I need to stay on version 5.5 for now. And I'm trying to wait and see if someone else solves the Raylib issue before I move on. Okay, so this registers the components. So now I should be able to write a script file. I don't know where it's getting this player component from. Player, enemy. Ooh, maybe I can just do it here so I don't have to write a file. That's how you initialize it. Is that what I need to do? I need to use the component to initialize it. So this is effectively an entity. Maybe that's what it is. Oh, okay, okay. That makes sense. All right. So let's do, instead of this, we do like world.script. R. All right. The LLM autocomplete's going crazy. Isn't this literally Lua? All right, actually, let's just try this, I guess. Except, no, stop it. We'll do like 5 and 5. Because if that works, then iterating over a position component should create something. Now, this might not work if I don't create an entity. So I'm expecting, actually, yeah, I'm expecting this to not work. Yes, you can do that. I don't remember how to do it off the top of my head, but there is a way to do that. VC package lets you specify port versions. I don't remember how to do it, but I think like in here where I specify Raylib on the line, I could do something like this instead. I could do name Raylib version like 5.5. I don't remember exactly how to do it because I've never. So this is something else about me. And I try to do this professionally when I can, but it's a much bigger uphill battle to achieve this. I tend to stick to the latest versions of dependencies as much as I possibly can. Okay, so that compiled. Not only did that not... Okay, so that it's running, it's not printing anything, so that didn't work. So let's try and make this an entity. New entity. Is that how it was doing it? Yeah. Let's see if that does anything. You wish you could use cargo from Rust? Dude. I got something to show you. We can't use it yet. But people are talking about it. They're trying to figure it out. Now, why do I happen to know all these things about issues in open source projects? Because I like to keep up to date. Some people like to read fantasy novels. Some people like to watch Netflix. Some people like to watch the latest episode of Game of Thrones on Amazon Prime or HBO, right? What do? I like to browse issues in repos and see what people are working on, see what's coming up next, because I'm always excited about what people are coming up with. But there are Rust libraries. I personally have used a Rust library now in a C++ project professionally, and I ended up writing a custom VC package port file that automatically runs cargo to pull in this dependency, build it, and then provide me a way to find it via CMake so I can link it into my C++ project. So that's like that's where I think we will start to see some back and forth between Rust and C++ with these package managers, is because all of these libraries are useful libraries. There are some useful libraries being written in Rust that we can link against these other projects. So they are talking about it. Now, I think they are discovering there are some difficulties, but it looks like they have some tickets out there that need to get resolved first. But as of October of last year, April of this year, it was mentioned. The fixes, compilation, STLs used. But, like, people want it, so you're not the only one. So if and or when they make that happen, then it won't be long before we can just, in a C or C++ project, come in here and list a Rust library to use with our project, which I think would be really cool. All right, that's not working either. Oh, enable required add-ons. So this could be a gotcha. Sometimes with third-party libraries, if there's additional features you need to turn on, whoever integrated that library with VC package might not have been aware of that. So we have to look at the port file, which honestly I can just look at the one I copied over. We have to see if that's getting configured or not. I'm not, and I don't know if it's like on by default. So it's setting Static shared. But it's not setting anything. Enable required. For Rust libs, could you bootstrap a translation layer that auto-generates thunks or else mangled functions at the amount of time? I mean, as long as like, because Rust generates C style ABIs, right? I assume. Oh, do you have to do extern C in Rust? That makes sense. I guess you would, wouldn't you? Yeah, I don't know. If you have a project you'd like to share, they have a Discord. Maybe I'll have to like pop in there and start asking them questions. Flecs Hub is a collection of repositories. I've looked at these. There's not a lot of detail in them. Language bindings. There's no instructions for building Flecs. Statistics add-on for profiling. That's kind of cool. How do you build it? Okay, yeah, that doesn't surprise me. That makes sense that you would need extern C. Okay. Usually, there's instructions on how to like build these things. My God. Ooh, we have a presets. We can read the presets. That's funny. Is this just for Android? Really? All right, what am I looking for? This is saying ensure that both Flex Meta and Flex Script add-ons are active in your build setup. I have to assume they are if this is compiling, right? Add-ons. Alerts app deprecated, Flex CPP, HTTP, JSON, Meta, Script. I have to assume that means we have it. How about using Zig to build dependencies? I've thought about that. I've tried to get Zig integrated or like using Zig instead of CMake and integrating it with VC package. The one limitation I was running into was the compile commands.json, which I don't even remember who needed it. Certain tools need compile commands. The LSP needs the compile commands.json file. And because Zig wasn't producing it for us, or for me, it was causing issues. I don't remember what it was, because I tried this, I don't know what version Zig's on right now, but I tried this with Zig 12, I think. I think it was Zig.12, something like that. However long ago that was. Yeah, ClangD needs it. So it wasn't really like playing nice with what I was trying to do with it. But the thing I do like is Zig. All I have to do with Zig is install the extension, I think, or just create a .zig file, and then it automatically downloads the compiler for you on any platform, and then it will build it for any platform. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is how all languages should be. So maybe that'll be something I play with, or try playing with again, because I think there is an open source project that will generate the compile commands for you now, that I'm not 100% sure existed at the time. Okay, so this should work, but I might just literally be doing this wrong. Does run make it run in a loop? Or does it make it execute? Ooh. Oh, you guys don't see it. Sweet. Nothing happened. Don't worry about it. Thunk. Script init. Script update failed with an assertion. The code is null. Current zig is 0.16. Okay, that makes sense. New entity position. I just want this to work. What a weird way to format the code, Clang format. That is so weird. Why would you do that? Wait. Okay, I can put this in debug. I am in debug. Maybe I can just figure out what's going on. Or not. What in tarnations? Debug. Try this again. Okay, so we got here. That's good. We step over, step over, step over. Oh, is the run? Oh, I see. Okay, hang on. I see what's going on. I am trying so hard to tell Flecs the code isn't null. It's a builder. This is... Oh, is it not return a reference? Okay. Okay, so script init. We pass in the world and a description. And that description has no code. And that's probably why it's failing. So what? So I'm using the API wrong. Yeah, that's where it fails. Okay. So how do we give the code a description? You know what? I bet this is supposed to be a name. Because I think script might be an entity. Let me, I'm going to put a breakpoint in here. I bet this is wrong. I'll look up the examples again. You might be right. It's just the examples weren't showing. Yeah, this is just a name. It's not the actual script. It returns a script builder type. And the problem is, because I'm using CPP modules right now, I'm not getting some good code completion, so I don't know what I can and can't do. The other option I have here, let's see if I have it actually. I don't have Visual Studio set up. Okay. There's also a quick start. Maybe it's on their website. The examples are written in C, and like the ones that I've seen, ooh, script. Okay, these are actual script examples. So script run file. It is possible to set component values in a Flecs script file as long as the component is described with reflection data. Since we don't have a component yet, we'll first have to create one. Ooh. Ooh, you can do enums. Why do I have two identical structs that are just repping a... that is because I am more interested in their names and verifying that I am capable of using this library correctly. This code isn't anything. I'm just testing the APIs of a library I have never used before. When I set up follower alerts, I clipped a perfect audio for that where you say C++ is dumb. Don't ever write C++. Oh no. Oh man, I'm not wrong. I am not wrong. Let's see here. So this is clearly wrong because this is just a name. So I'm gonna do this. Okay, so this is our actual script. This is a script builder. Oh. Is that a real thing? Ah, of course it's not. Okay, they have these script examples, but they've got to have some code that's actually like running them. Entities, hello world, queries, reflection, bitmask enum, JSON. Ooh, JSON. Custom serializer. Oh, they've got a ton of examples. Holy crap. Serialized string, vector optional, opaque types. Serialize and deserialize the world. How do you load a script? Scripts. Sorry. Scripts. I did that. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so it's said to call run. Is it world run? World dot run. That surely can't be it. How's it going? This is getting annoying. You know what? I'm about to swap over to Linux because maybe the LSP will work on Linux. I don't know what's going on here. You are absolutely allowed to ask questions if you would like. I may or may not be inclined to answer them, but feel free to ask. Would you like to download and install ClangD? Yes. Yeah, I might be able to help you with that. What's up? ClangD kind of works. The problem with modules is they have to be built into these module files for tools to know they exist. All right, building Flecs. Yeah. I would love to get all of these like chats integrated with each other somehow. I have no idea what the song is. This song is by Powerwolf. Wake Up the Wicked. Sinners of the Seven Seas. Some kind of epic song, that's for sure. Hey, Nazar, did you have a question, or were you just generally asking, like, what the issues, or like what are like the common issues of memory leaks and type checkers? I wasn't 100% sure what you're asking, if that's what you were asking, or I'm not quite sure what you're trying to ask. Okay, I think that installed Flecs in Linux, so that's good. I have not seen a video about C++ being the worst language, but I also don't live under a rock. I am aware of what big influencers like to say about C++, and I'm also aware, having written C++ for as long as I have, that those big influencers have not written C++ like I have, right? So yeah, you also got to keep in mind, C++ is very, very popular. Now, a lot of people might not like it, but that doesn't mean it isn't being used. It is everywhere. And it's not going away anytime soon. But because it's so popular, it is a massive target for people talking about it and all the things that suck about it, right? And sometimes I agree. There are things about C++ that just downright suck. But you don't have to use those things, right? And I think the talk about memory safety when it comes to C++, I think is a little overblown at this point. At least in my field and around what I've seen, it hasn't really been that big a deal because most people are using somewhat modern C++ and tools. So, like, I haven't written any, like, memory issues in over a decade because there are tools that catch a lot of that for you, right? Those aren't the types of bugs that I come across anymore. Now, depending on how you write your C++, yes, tools will absolutely call you out on potential memory leaks. So some of the tools I use in professionally, Clang Tidy obviously being one of them. It's more of like a static analysis tool, making sure you're writing proper and less bug-prone C++. But Clang, also, the LLVM project, Clang, they also provide flags for your code that you can add for memory sanitization, address sanitization, thread sanitization. So you can put all those flags in and then run like unit tests and things like that, executables that run your code. And when you do, it will catch any potential race conditions, memory leaks, things like that, right? Use after freeze, those types of issues. I just like... C++ is so big and spans so many years, so many language sets, so many features. So the vocal minority that, you know, like the squeaky wheel gets the grease kind of thing, like the vocal minority is what you're going to hear about. You're going to hear about those who complain about not modern C++ or C++ that isn't being updated. And I have seen code bases like that, right? Like, they exist out there and they scare the hell out of me. I Yeah, I wouldn't be stressing about memory leaks as long as you're, you know, don't use a couple of simple things is don't use naked news. Don't take references to raw pointers, like don't store those. What are some other common things? I think those are the big ones. Like some of the harder to find bugs will be things like that, right? Where you take a you store a raw pointer or reference or iterator to some data structure somewhere else that like owns the memory, and you don't necessarily know when that memory will be deallocated or freed or moved around, and so you still keep track of an old reference. So I would avoid writing code like that if you can, or having some kind of code in place that will handle automatically adjusting that reference when things change on you. Hello, Mr. Greenbox HTML C++. Hello, how's it going? Yeah, share pointers are technically slower, but you gotta... Slow is relative, right? It's how you are using the data, right? What problem are you trying to solve? If you're iterating over lots of things, yeah, using pointers is going to be slow in general, not just shared pointers. So it's using the right tool for the job is kind of where a lot of that falls into play. We could do I guess I could do a little show and tell with smart pointers real quick. I've come across some dastardly bugs with shared pointers. Shared pointers, if you're not careful, if you don't know what you're doing, they can get you, and they can get you pretty hard. Let's what should I do? What should I do? I could put this on pause. I'm not making any progress on this. Not as much as I wanted to. I might just have to sit and tinker with this later. Do I care about my main.cpp? I'm on Git, right? So I can just recover everything I need. Let me store, I do want to keep Flecs. I do want to keep that. I don't need main. Flecs. I need all of this. I don't really need that. Okay. Yeah, let's play around with smart pointers and maybe a little bit of iterator performance. These are things that I like to do, especially when I'm learning something. It just helps put some ideas into my head about how things work. So I'm just gonna nuke main. So, we want memory, we want vector, we want chrono, we want print. What else were we talking about? We might want functional. Let's start there. Pretty simple main, except I don't want that. Okay, so from the perspective of, I think you were talking about, what were you talking about? Were you talking about games? Well, I mean, games are not. So if you are, since I'm doing some game dev, or I have been doing some game dev, let's look at that. If I have an entity class or struct, whatever you want to call it, right? I could do something like this, right? And normally, I might do this, right? And we can compile it. I might even be able to return the ID and be able to do something like e.id. But I have a bug, and C++ called it out for me. So this is something that annoys me when it comes to your YouTube or TikTok influencers talking about C++. It's easy to shoot yourself in the foot, right? It's easy to make mistakes. It's easy to have uninitialized memory and have bugs. Yet, as you guys just witnessed, my compiler calls it out. Now, I will say, it calls it out because I set up my compiler to catch these types of errors for me. So when you are dealing with people talking about how bad it is to write C++ and how easy it is to write bug-prone code, I mean, come on. You got to use your compiler flags. Now, newer languages, they probably are a lot more strict by default. Okay, that's fair. Totally fair. But if you know C++, if you've written C++, then you know to turn these compiler flags on to catch these types of errors. That way you're not getting away with accidentally uninitializing your values, right? So I need to initialize E. Cool. So if I run this, actually, I don't think it's going to show the error code, so let's print it. Cool. All right, entity ID is 0. Perfect. So I made use of my compiler just like something like Rust would do to catch compile errors, right? And even C will catch things like this. You just got to know how to use your compiler, what to set up. So if I'm starting C++ from scratch, I would probably look at making sure your like catch all warnings and then treat all warnings as errors. That's what I would do. That is what I do. And that's why you'll see in my CMake presets for all of this, in my compilers here, I have them turned on. W all, W extra, W error. I have pedantic turned on. So I want it to be a pain in the ass to write code. You know what other language is a pain in the ass to write code in? So I've heard? Rust. Turns out C++ can do some of that stuff too. You just got to turn it on. C++ isn't so restrictive by default. That's the downside. But C++ can do that, and I do that. I do that professionally. All right. I heard mention shared pointer can be slow. It can be slow. It has atomic reference counting. Shared pointer is thread safe, so you can have copies of these pointers on multiple threads. In order to perform those copies and do that reference counting, you got to have thread safe incrementation. So that's where your atomic references are coming from. But like I said, it depends how you use it. So let's set up a little micro benchmark here. And as we all know, if you are going to profile, you never profile in debug. We all know that, right? Right? So let's initialize a bunch of entities. Const auto entities equals standard vector. I don't remember off the top of my head, but isn't there like a algorithm, STL algorithm? Ooh, what's this? I don't think this is it. Is this it? Does this work? What is this? Except I want this to be a unique pointer. Let's do a unique pointer. Unique, make unique. See, I'm learning new C++ every day. Does this actually do what I think it's going to do? I don't know what this is going to do. This is voodoo to me. I've never written code like this. Does this? I am curious if this actually does what I think it's going to do. It's going to initialize with I. Ah, okay. That would have been too hopeful. AI is going a little crazy. But yeah, I think there's probably like, is it standard fill? I need to like initialize a vector of entities using C++23 and an STL algorithm to instantiate the entities using make unique. Generate. I knew there was a function. I think generate is correct. Why am I doing this? Just because it's fun. Ooh. I don't know. I'm not gonna spend time on this. I'm gonna make this easy for us. 4 entities. Let's do what's a good amount of entities? Let's start with 1,000. 1,000 entities is good. We make unique. We set the ID. We can actually, I think, just... Yeah, let's just do that. We set the ID, entities, and we loop over, we print. No, don't profile and debug. Come on. This will not turn into a stream where you guys do the opposite of what I say. Only I can do that. I'm doing in release now. Okay, cool. We have 1,000 entities, so that's working. We don't need to worry about that anymore. So let's give the entity some kind of operation. But what kind of work do we want to do? What is something an entity can do? I guess we could give it a let's do a position or acceleration. What is it? Velocity and position. Let's do that. So we're gonna give it, and we'll make it simple. We will keep it. We can do floats. So we'll do position X, position Y, float velocity X, float velocity. We don't even need to do that. Let's just do one of each. We'll do velocity. We will take a delta time, and we'll say position is equal to velocity times delta time, right? Pretty straightforward. Just a little bit of work. Then we want to probably... Oh, that's a good point. 0.016, that's basically 60 hertz, right? Let's make it simpler. We'll do 100 hertz. Uh, 100 hertz is what? 100 frames in a second? So we'll run 1 second of simulation here. We want to try and take a rolling average of the amount of time it takes to iterate over, just to kind of smooth things out. We don't want outliers. We don't want like a spike in amount of time because the cache isn't warm. So we want to be able to like discard those or smooth that data out to get a better idea. So we're gonna actually don't need that anymore. So we're gonna start the clock, but we want to, in fact, I think we're just going to initialize it. Time point. We'll actually start the clock here. Because we want to get like an average amount of time. I guess not. I guess we just need it here, don't we? And then I'm going to use a deck to keep track of like a rolling average. So once we have the elapsed time, we'll push it back. So let's do 1,000 frames. So that should be 10 seconds of simulation. Frame times elapsed. If frame times is greater than 100, I like 200. So that way we're just keeping a rolling average of, or a rolling collection of frame times. So then once this finishes running, we want to sum up. There's a new way to do accumulate. I think it's fold. I haven't used this too much. It's like fold left, standard, ranges, fold left. And then we get the average value. So that's going to be the average frame time to iterate over 1,000 entities. This should be 1.0f divided by sum is float average. This should be fine. I don't know. That looks okay. Try and run it. Ooh, maybe it's not okay. Fold left identifier not found. Oh wait, it's not in ranges, is it? It's in algorithm, isn't it? I'm so freaking good. All right. So we are going to initialize 1,000 entities with some data. Those entities are all going to do work, all going to calculate some kind of position. They're all going to calculate the same position, actually. You know what? It doesn't have to be that way. We can say, let's do static cast float I. So now they will all have different positions by the end of this. But they're all going to do a little bit of work. And we are running in release because you do not profile and debug. And let's see what happens. Woo! That ran fast. Oh, did I screw something up? No, I don't think it did. The output's just wrong. This should be hertz. Frame time, frame rate. And we are capturing the time as, let me make sure I'm doing that right. We are capturing the time as seconds. Yep, that looks good. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be really fast. We're not doing a lot of work. Let's see here. yeah, I think if we want this in milliseconds, we don't write code like this anymore. Okay, so I do have to use a duration cast. You're killing me, guys. You're taking away the wrong lessons. Yeah, so this is running at 2.7 million hertz to iterate over 1,000 unique pointer entities. So we're gonna have to update or increase our numbers. So let's change this to nanoseconds or microseconds. Microseconds. This is running too fast. 0 microseconds. Okay, now I'm... There we go. Oh my god, it's so fast. And this is what's crazy. Computers are so freaking fast. We're iterating over 1,000 entities at 100 hertz for 1,000 frames. And we're doing it all in 309 nanoseconds. Or 3.2 million hertz. Right? So, let's add some more entities to slow this down a little bit so we can get a little bit more variation here. Let's do 10,000 entities. Okay, so now we're at 3,700 nanoseconds. Now we're getting somewhere. So I'm going to put this back to microseconds. Wait, what? There's no way. Wait. I was going to say. Yeah, we're not doing that. That's crazy. It's trying to use is that Unicode? Okay. There we go. So 10,000 entities as unique pointers. Okay, that's still too much. Or it's not enough, right? It's still too fast. So we're going to do 100,000 entities. There we go. All right. So we can iterate. Now, obviously, we're not really doing any work. We can iterate over 100,000 entities as unique pointers, doing 23,000 hertz or 42 microseconds. So we all hear shared pointers are slower, right? So if I change make unique to make shared, do we think this is going to run slower or faster or the same? Or do we think it won't compile? What did I do wrong? Oh, there we go. What do we think? Shared pointer slower, right? That's basically the same. Maybe a smidge slower. If we run it again, does it change? You see how there's variance? So it's very similar, right? Because you got to remember, I screwed up my... How did I screw up my window? How do I undo this? What in tarnations? Oh, this is killing me. I want this back over here. I screwed something up. There, collapse. I don't know. So, well, weak pointer is a little different, right? Because a weak pointer, you're going to have to lock it. So that's going to be a copy. So if, let's say we had we have our collection of entities that are shared pointers, and we also want a collection of our weak, we'll call them weak entities. And we'll go ahead and take a reference to those as well. So then during this iteration, we're not iterating over entities, we're iterating over weak entities. Therefore, we have to do a lock, and we have to make this check, this if check. So you're doing a ton more operations already. And yeah, I would say that is about 10 times slower. But that is still 100,000 entities at 100 hertz. And you're getting it done in 744 microseconds. Microseconds, guys, microseconds. Yes, a shared pointer is slower. You won't notice. You're not going to notice. You're only going to notice if you put it in a critical section and you're doing it in such a bad manner that it just like, it explodes, right? One individual copy or lock in one section of your code. What becomes a problem, though, is if you have a large code base with 10 people working on it, 20 people working on it, 30, 100, all like small teams. Like a lot of dev teams are like what? Teams of 4 to 8, all off doing their own thing, all touching one piece of a massive code base. If your code base has shared pointers, it will be a problem because everyone is going to be doing stuff like this. And it's going to be all over the place. So that's a little different than what we are showing, than what I'm showcasing here, right? In that manner, yes, shared pointers are slow because it is really hard to enforce a massive code base full of developers to do it correctly. So what do? You use tools like Clang Tidy to automatically enforce it during code review. Now, all of this is still going to be a lot slower than using the data directly. So far we've been comparing pointers. So what if we just did the data like as pure data? So if I did like data entities, and we initialize these as well. And then we will, let's loop over our data entities. How fast do we think iterating over a cache coherent collection of data that is approximately what, 4, 8, 12 bytes times 100,000? So 1.2, what is that? 1.2 megabytes, something like that. Does that fit in a cache? Ooh. 20 microseconds, so twice as fast as unique pointers. Well, it turns out even this is probably because we probably had some cache misses, right? Let's say I get rid of the ID
if I got rid of the ID here, so now instead of 1.2 megabytes, I'm 800 kilobytes. I'm curious what kind of impact that'll have, because we were not using it to do any work, right? The ID was not being used to do any work. So just by removing that, do we affect performance? Not really. So that probably means we weren't really being affected by the cache at all. Which makes sense. I am... oh. Oh, I gotta show you guys something. Do you guys want to take a look at what CPU I'm using? I wasn't even thinking about this. I have 1.2 megabytes of L1 cache. I have 128 megabytes of L3 cache. I'm on a Ryzen 9950 X3D. I basically have the CPU to use for cache efficiency. So this might be a poor example of cache performance coming from me, because my CPU is designed to basically run your entire program inside cache. But if there were going to be cache misses, then you might see these numbers get affected by the size of your data structure, right? But you got to remember, even if I was iterating a bunch of pointers, generally speaking, unless you're running some kind of like massive simulation loop with hundreds of thousands of entities that all need to act on hundreds of thousands of entities, most likely the fact that your data is pointers isn't necessarily going to be like where your performance issues are going to come from. From the perspective of a game, almost always it's going to be your graphics, right? Your graphics, like transferring the data from your CPU to the GPU, that's typically going to be your slowest operations. Try 100 million entities. I would try that, but I fear how long it would take to initialize the application. You know what? Challenge accepted. Maybe not 100 million. Let's start with 1 million first, because I honestly don't know how long it'll take. One downside to unique pointers, or to pointers in general, right? You're allocating on the heap. Allocating heap operations is slower than just like throwing something on the stack. 1 million entities at 100 hertz. Is that all I needed to modify? Okay, so this should push it out of the cache. Oh my god. 10x the performance hit. Let's see if adding the ID does anything. Not really. Well, nothing that's like going to be observable from the naked eye for sure. Looks like maybe a couple of microseconds difference. Yeah. Yeah. We saved ourselves about what, 10 microseconds of performance by removing the ID. So just from the perspective of how much memory your entity takes up. Not so like it's this is why premature optimization is always talked about, because compilers are really good at getting your code correct. So I never stress when it comes to writing code. I try not to stress too much about making pure decisions based on performance alone, because sometimes having a well-written API helps productivity and maintainability of your code base compared to really ugly, super high performant code, right? It all depends on your use case. Oh, apologies. It's a million times 12 bytes, so 12 megabytes is what we're looking at right now. Honestly, not even that, because I'm also allocating the other pointers. Now, how does this? What about the pointers, right? So with pure data in a vector, we're looking at about 200 microseconds. If we swap back over to our, let's say our, I got rid of the unique pointers. Hang on. Let's do unique pointers. Auto unique entities. Unique. All right, so if we swap back over to our pointers, so now we have a million pointers. Roughly 3 times slower, right? So now we're getting into the realm of, okay, there might be something here. And you also got to remember, in like a game where you're doing all of these iterations, you're not just iterating over like one type of data. You're going to be iterating over entities, any of the state that those entities have, UI components, UI state, all of that, right? So it all builds upon each other. Why a unique pointer? So, like, compared to what? Unique pointer is unique memory ownership, so it makes it so that you don't run into a situation where you are writing, or like you're not accessing or utilizing memory the way you shouldn't. And so it's just a way to keep your code base relatively clean and working as you should. Shared pointers, yeah. So shared pointer, shared memory ownership, that's where you're going to get your reference counting. So let's swap back over to shared. Are we allocating shared anymore? Yes, except let's rename it to shared entities. Woo, now we're getting somewhere. This is starting to feel a little slower. So it was 2,000 microseconds to iterate over shared entities versus unique entities. Yeah. So you are, I don't know if I know how to explain that, because I honestly wouldn't expect there to be that much of a difference, because I'm not taking a copy of the shared entities. But shared pointers has atomic reference counting. So anytime you copy, you are doing that atomic reference count. So from that perspective, there can be a performance degradation if you are iterating a ton of items. The other issue you run into with shared pointers is just abuse. Shared pointer abuse. Ooh, I like... I can't do a const reference because we are modifying internal state, so that will not work. Actually, maybe it will, because we are not modifying the pointer itself, the object itself. Yeah, I'm... Oh, you know what's happening? I think I know what's happening. Watch this. I actually think I know what's happening. If I reduce this down to 100,000 entities, I bet the distance, the delta between the two is going to be similar. Or we're going to find out where it's similar. Okay. So for shared pointers, we are at 44 microseconds, right? So if I keep running this, we're roughly around 43, 44. If we do swap back to unique pointers, I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. I should just code this so that we can see all of it at the same time. I should probably do that. But let's look at this. This might be a good interview question. I mean, we're still off by about 10 microseconds, but it's not 10x the performance degradation, right? And it's the same reason. So here's the interview question for you, chat. Why is it that shared pointer and unique pointer are similar in iteration performance when we have fewer entities, but when the amount of entities grows, we're at 3 microseconds, then the performance degradation seems to grow logarithmic with it. And it's not like linear. It's not 1-to-1. So what do you think is going on there? And here's a hint. We literally talked about this with this line right here. Yeah, they're basically the same when we only have 10,000. But when we have 1,000,000, we notice a significant difference. Ooh, no. Here's another hint. It has nothing to do with the reference count. Penny, you are right. And that's one thing I think everyone should take away from here. As a C++ developer, remember, the language hates you. And it will do anything in its power to make your life miserable. But when you conquer it, it feels so good. But seriously, guys, like what's going on here? We talked about this. So the cache, right? We need everything to fit in the cache. What is a unique pointer? But we have 1 million unique pointer entities versus 1 million unique or 1 million shared entities, right? What is a unique pointer? A unique pointer, like if I was writing my own unique pointer, nope. Has nothing to do with that. So this is a unique pointer, right? So what would a shared pointer look like? Ooh, is the autocomplete going to cheat and do it for me? It's not even like that. It's going to look something like... Penny, you got it. Yes, Buffer. The shared pointer has more stuff under the hood. It's using up more memory. So while we are in the middle of iterating, we have to leave the cache. We have to jump from like what, L2 to L3, something like that. And so yeah, and you got to remember, we're testing all of this in a very tight loop. So we get to observe these differences in big, massive applications with millions of lines of code all over the place doing their own thing. Things like this become a lot harder to observe. But that's what we're seeing here. The size of shared pointer is going to be larger than the size of a unique pointer. So that could be one con to using a shared pointer over a unique pointer if you needed to iterate over a million objects in one loop, right? Makes sense? So when would you use a shared pointer? When would you use any unique pointer? Generally speaking, just do what you want, especially if you're working on a small project. A shared pointer is really cool if you're using these weak pointer references. So I talked earlier about not keeping a reference to raw pointers because they could become invalidated at some point. So a cool thing about weak pointers is it lets you know, because you have to lock it before you use it. And if the pointer it's referencing goes out of scope, then that lock will return null pointer. But there are downsides. So a real common bug to a shared pointer that I have seen before is you might have something like this. Let's say your entity, we have this do work function, right? Instead of having do work here, what if we had a standard function void float work, right? We call it work. Now this is obviously going to have a huge impact on performance as well. But in here, we might want to do something like entity work. So we assign do work like this instead, right? And then in here, this becomes, actually, I think this stays the same, doesn't it? Yeah, I think this stays the same. Yeah, that stays the same. Except I'm only instantiating it for the shared entity right now, so let's only do that. Okay, cool. All right, so that compiled, right? Let's run this. Oh, it's so much slower. So obviously, for starters, having to... I don't know if anyone's ever seen the disassembly of a standard function, but it gets massive. And as you can see, using a standard function compared to just calling a function directly, a little bit slower. But there's also another issue here. I wrote a bug, and by I would say the AI auto-completed a bug. So, AI auto-generation, right? You hear about vibe coding all the time, and the potential problems with vibe coding. I don't think vibe coding's an issue if you know what you're doing. So here's a challenge. There's a bug in this code. Can anyone see it? Or I should say a potential bug. There is a pretty massive potential bug here in this code that was just added. Actually, you guys think on that a sec. I'm going to use the bathroom.
So the issue is this line right here. There's a potential for bugs. Entity is a shared pointer, right? So anytime you copy it, you increase the reference count. Only when the reference count goes to 0 does the shared pointer get destroyed. So anytime it leaves scope, it gets destroyed. If I copy the entity into this lambda, it has a reference count of, it increases the reference count by 1. So really, we get our first reference count here, and then we get a second reference count here, right, inside this lambda. So then, when we leave the scope of the for loop, our reference count goes down to 1. Ooh, but we missed one. Oh, we got lucky. No, we didn't. Yeah. Reference count 1 when we create the entity. Reference count 2 when we copy the entity into the lambda. Reference count 3 when we copy the entity into a vector. So then we leave scope, reference count 2. We exit the program, reference count 1. Memory leak. Now, when this function gets destroyed, this should go away, so we really don't have a memory leak. But this is one of those things that is really hard to see. And the types of bugs I have seen with this, effectively, you end up in like this infinite loop where objects are never freed, because usually when you're using lambdas like this, you probably have some other objects that also have lambdas, and maybe you cross-reference, and you end up like keeping yourself alive. So you got to remember, this entity's destructor only gets called when the reference count goes down to 0. The function destructor only gets called if the entity's destructor goes down to 0. But how can the entity go down to 0 if there's a copy of it being kept alive from itself? So let's, I am actually curious, but I would expect to not see a call to this destructor. And I'm not sure, I'm going to remove this move for now and see what happens. So we should see a ton of entity destroyed when we run this application. Oh, hi Trill, what are you doing? Entity destroyed. Okay, so that is behaving as expected. It's these types of things that I like to play around with to help myself understand as well, right? I wouldn't expect this destructor to have gotten... Oh, the vector owns the entities, so we didn't take a copy of the entity. This would be more if something else owned the entity and we took a reference of that. I don't think we memory leaked because we did hit. Oh, wait a minute. I'm guys, I'm dumb. We have like 4 different vectors of entities. Hang on. Let's comment some of these out. We're only messing with shared pointers right now. Shared pointer. Let's comment out these. Shared. Okay. Let's see if that works. This does take a sec to run if I remember, because work is a lambda instead of a direct to call. Yeah, there we go, guys. We just leaked whatever 1 million times whatever the size of function is times whatever the size of shared pointer is. So we just leaked many megabytes of data
into my operating. Wait, why are we doing this to my computer? This is bullshit. So yeah, it is easy if you're not careful with shared pointers to end up in situations like this. So from the perspective of how I like to write C++, write your code such that it is easy to use, hard to use incorrectly. I would say this is easy to use. I would also say it's easy to use incorrectly. So I try, if I can, to not use shared pointers as like a core architectural component of my code base. Instead, I try to only use shared pointers for like snapshots of when I actively need to use them. That is a great question. If you leave a lambda, yes, you will decrement the reference count for sure. So let me challenge you. And I'm just going to simplify this, okay? Let's make this really straightforward. I'm going to comment this out. We'll do some of the code down here. If I create an entity and then I assign a lambda to it, pretty straightforward, right? And you all see that if the entity is destroyed, we'll see entity destroyed print out, right? Memory leaked. Memory leaked. Memory leaked. You guys are doing this to my own computer. Memory leaked. You are causing me to leak all kinds of memory in my computer. So what's going on there? When this lambda goes out of scope, just like you rightfully said, it will decrement the reference count of entity. So then if that is true, and it is also true that when entity is destroyed, we will see entity destroyed printed, then what must be true? It must be true that this lambda is not going out of scope. Why? Ooh, this might be a really good interview question. I know you're asking. I'm challenging you guys. I'm challenging chat to interact. Don't take it personal. These are the types of questions I would be more interested in engineers answering for me versus like leak code questions. Especially if you're working on like a C++ code base, because these are like real gotchas. These are actual problems that appear in large code bases. So what's going on here? Remember what I said about a shared pointer. It's reference counted. So when reference count reaches 0, that is the only time this destructor is called. So we know this is reference count 1, right? So if we comment out this line here, and if that is true, then when we leave scope, that reference count goes down to 0, and we should see the destructor. And there it is. So that works. So when we create an entity, we get a reference count 1. When we leave the scope of the application, the reference count decrements because the shared pointer's destructor is called. It goes to 0. Entity is destroyed. But as soon as we add this line in, memory leak. Memory leak. Look, guys, I wrote a program that leaks memory all over the place. Isn't this great? The lambda scope is assigned to work. Work is a standard function. So when standard function is destroyed, the lambda is destroyed. But wait a minute. When is standard function destroyed? When entity is destroyed. When is entity destroyed? when the reference count hits 0, right? 0. We copy entity into the lambda. That's a reference count 2. We have a reference count 2. Yes, you're on to something. Yes, if we don't copy the entity, entity destroyed. It works. We're not leaking memory into my freaking computer, guys. This is bullshit. But if I take a copy, we leak. Yeah, yes. It's a circular dependency issue. How does the lambda get destroyed if this reference count goes to 2? Then when the shared pointer goes out of scope, the reference count goes back down to 1. The entity is still alive. If the entity is still alive, we can't destroy it. We can't destroy the function. If we can't destroy the function, we can't destroy the lambda. If we can't destroy the lambda, we can't destroy the entity. If we can't destroy the entity, we can't destroy the... You see what I'm getting at? So that's one of the easy dangers of shared pointer, is situations like this, if you're not careful. Now, obviously, there are ways to solve this, right? You can just say w equals entity dot, I think it's there's a way to do this now. Is it weak pointer? I don't remember how to do it. Something like that. And then inside the scope, you can do auto entity equals w dot lock, something like that. Yeah, I don't remember what the function is. It's there's a function you can call now to get the weak pointer. Well, no, this is C++. We're not manually freeing anything anymore. You just got to write your code better, right? So that's why, yeah, you take a reference if that's what you need, but with shared pointer, like any pointer, you really don't want to take a reference of it because it could go out of scope somewhere else. So with shared pointer, at least, you do have the option to use a weak pointer. And so you could do this is safer because now you don't keep yourself alive. You have a weak reference and you're no longer leaking memory. Oh, don't you start with me, Hick. So yeah, that's a little bit of knowledge about shared pointers that got me in the past. This was a legitimate bug I used to have to fight all the time, and now I really don't like using shared pointers as much, only when I need them, which is typically in a shared context. So if I'm not using shared pointers, what am I doing? I'm using unique pointers. So now I'm doing unique pointer. And you still run the risk of references, but at least here, you can't accidentally keep yourself alive. And as long as you are referencing yourself, you know this is a valid call, so you can just do this. So then the only time I'm actually doing a shared pointer is when I need to keep the pointer alive on multiple threads. And the cool thing with a unique pointer is you are allowed to move it into a shared reference. So you're basically transferring that ownership. You're saying, hey, I no longer am going to keep ownership over this, So I'm going to give it to you for shared ownership so that I can now pass it on to multiple threads at the same time. And then whenever those threads exit and are done with it, dereference the count. And then once all threads are done, reference count goes to 0, it gets deallocated. So that's basically what I do these days professionally. With Briarthorn, Alwyn, everything is out the door because I'm experimenting, I'm tinkering, Someone asks, how do you learn C++? This is how I learn C++. I take what I know and I try to break it, or I try different things and see what works, see what doesn't, and go from there, right? All right, folks. You made me talk so much more than I thought I was going to tonight. And I am losing my voice. Even though it might not sound like it, my throat is sore. So, I think this is a great time and a great spot to end things. I didn't make as much progress with Flecs that I wanted to. I still need to figure out how to parse a Flex script and see if it will solve the problems I need. Because if so, then I will be able to make some good headway with how I want to build out this application. Hopefully someone learned something today. Maybe I'll be able to take a snapshot of it, turn it into a YouTube short, and teach some other people. We'll see. But yeah, I'm also, I don't know what my availability is this weekend, so we will see. Just keep an eye out. Like I said, weekends are always up in the air, but Monday, Wednesday, Friday, programming, 5:30 Eastern. Tuesday, Thursday, some type of gaming. Currently doing Baldur's Gate, that kind of thing. I think that is where I'm going to end things. I do have a Discord if you're curious. I am available on it when I'm not working. I mean, I work during the day, so I won't be able to like interact with too many people while I'm working. But I'm always there to, if you have a question or two and I have time, I might answer. We'll see. Hey, wait. All right, I haven't left yet. All right, I'm waiting. Oh, I can't help you there. I'm not an Unreal Engine person. The only thing I can tell you, Unreal Engine is massive, right? It is powerful. It is flexible. It can do everything. It has everything you could possibly want to build a AAA game. Everything. So what do you do when you have every tool available to you and your boss says, hey, I need this feature, and this feature done by the end of next month. But you don't know how to do it, right? Because it's a brand new framework, it has all the features available you could possibly ask for. What do you even do? Where do you even begin? It's like learning C++. How do you learn C++? How do you learn Unreal? You got to remember there's new people joining the industry every day. So you got a bunch of new people, you got a bunch of older people leaving, so you end up in this situation where no one knows how to optimize with this massive, powerful tool, and so that's where you get your stuttering, because everyone has a deadline, and that's what you'll eventually learn if you ever join the workforce, if you're not already. You can spend all the time in the world coming up with the coolest, cleanest code that you could possibly write, and then your boss is going to yell at you because you are taking too long to get a feature out the door, because someone is paying money to get that feature up and running as quickly as possible. And it turns out, in the real world, code isn't nearly as clean. In fact, over time, the older a code base is, the more of a spaghetti monster it turns into, right? So that is almost certainly what's happening with Unreal. Like, if you have people with Unreal issues, that is probably what's happening. Right? I can't say for sure because I've not used Unreal recently. I just know that it's like it's insane how complicated it is to learn. So that's where that comes from. All right, guys. I will see you maybe this weekend, maybe next week. Thanks for stopping by. Really appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully someone learned something. Hopefully we'll continue to learn. And hopefully I'll make some progress on my game someday. We'll see. All right. You guys have a good night. See ya.